Now my issue with the Slayer Gates is they're both underwhelming. The Holt one you can cheese. Maybe the fact that it's so much easier could be attributed to the arena layout or even the demon combination. So I'm not gonna say this happened because of me, because I highly doubt that. I'm way too small for anyone to care about what I think or what I say. And I actually uploaded that the same day that this update went live, but the timing is coincidental to, put my foot in my mouth, which is nothing new, it happens a lot. But that was basically a clip where I was complaining about the Slayer Gate in the Holt. The basic gist of it was I was complaining, saying that the Slayer Gates in the DLC were a giant letdown, especially in comparison to the Slayer Gates in the base game of Doom Eternal. And then that same day, when the Super Gore Master level dropped, the Slayer Gate for the Holt was updated. And man, let me tell you, if you're doing a blind run of this thing, make sure you don't have anyone around you, because the frustration is bound to make you want to tombstone the closest thing to you that has a pulse. It's completely different, especially if you're on console. I would say it's not even worth trying to do it on Ultra Nightmare, not unless you want to get evicted for your place on grounds of domestic violence. Even if you live by yourself, everyone around you is going to be convinced that you're fighting with someone. So how exactly did the Slayer Gate change? Well, let's start this off by taking a look at the original Slayer Gate. So I would describe the original as a two-stage fight. The first stage, you have a Baron, a bunch of Maker Drones, a Spectre Pinky, a Hell Knight, and one Blood Angel. You would have to kill all of these heavy demons in order to trigger the second stage, which was the Marauder fight. And I guess the reason why this was so difficult was because you had to deal with the Marauder while a bunch of Maker Drones in this tight arena were constantly shooting at you. But if you took the Marauder to the very bottom of the arena and circled around that pillar, then it was a breeze. That was the hardest part, and if you played it like that, then you can finish this in a matter of 2 minutes tops. And that was it. Congratulations, you beat the Slayer Gate to the last level of the DLC just like that. Extremely underwhelming. Like beating the kid in a wheelchair in a dancing contest. But now, in the updated version, I guess you could say itself added in 2 extra stages, and they completely redid the entire Slayer Gate. So starting up this updated version of the Slayer Gate, everything has been removed. There's no more Maker Drones, the Hell Knight is removed, the Spectre Pinky and the Baron have all been axed. In their place, however, you have to deal with 2 Archviles, and then once you kill one of those Archviles, a third one is going to spawn. So you have to deal with 3, along with any other demons they summoned because you're too slow to deal with them. And go ahead and add to that the fact that they're Archviles, everything you're dealing with is fucking buffed. That's nice. Right off the bat. 3 Archviles. When those 3 are killed, you then have to deal with 3 Bloodmakers. When 2 of those Bloodmakers are killed, the next wave of heavies is spawned in, which is 2 Dread Knights and 2 Doom Hunters. Once you take care of the Doom Hunters, the Dread Knights, and making sure that your 600 attempt to kill that last Bloodmaker actually succeeds, you're then going to deal with the best part of the arena. You have to deal with a possessed Marauder. And what you're dealing with this possessed Marauder, there's constantly going to be at least 2 carcasses in the arena. So they're turning this entire fight into a giant safe space. They're screwing up your flow, they're screwing up the Marauder's movement. The arena is already tight as it is. Now you're even more congested because of these 2 carcasses. Throw in the fact that the majority of people most likely use Super Shotgun Ballista to deal with Marauders, and because he's possessed, you're not going to be doing that much damage to him with this combination. Not to mention, when you finally kill him, you have to make sure you have enough plasma rounds to actually take care of the spirit, because once this possessed Marauder is dealt with, then you have to deal with another Marauder, and he's the last major obstacle. You got to take care of him, then clear out the arena, and now you're done with the updated one. If I'm being honest, I love and hate this so much. Like, my favorite parts of this updated Slayer Gate is being stuck in the wall. I think that was pretty unique. That was cool. Never had that happen before. I do really like the 3 Archviles, and I do love fighting the 2 Doom Hunters in a very tight space like this arena, especially with the 2 portals. You can get very creative with how quickly you can take care of both of them, and then if you're taking advantage of infinite blood punch, they're really no threat. My problems arise with the 3 Bloodmakers. I know for a lot of people they're nothing, but for me they're just kind of annoying. And as much as I want to complain about the possessed Marauder, deep down we've all wanted to fight a possessed Marauder, so I feel like I shouldn't even bitch about that one. Honestly, I applaud this. This is more attuned to what I was talking about in terms of Slayer Gates. This is actually a challenge. When I complained about the original Slayer Gate, I mentioned that it was a little bit of a break in comparison to the rest of the DLC. It wasn't that challenging. Now you actually have to enter it with an idea. How quickly are you going to take care of these Archviles? How are you going to utilize those portals and those monkey bars to your advantage to chip at both of those Doom Hunters simultaneously? If you die to the possessed Marauder, how hard are you going to throw your controller at the wall? shit. So you have to think before moving forward with this stuff. And I'm just happy that the Slayer Gate is no longer just some filler content and actually offers an experience that the rest of the DLC just doesn't have. So great for id, you know, to update the Slayer Gate and give it the spell speeding inspiration worthy of this DLC. But it does raise a few questions. Well, actually, I'm lying. It just raises a question. The other is just a suggestion for a Horde mode that we'll probably never get. But it'd be a nice replayability option if on like the main menu, you can load up all the Slayer Gates that you've completed, kind of choosing like which of the arenas that you want to get into. And then there's a slider modifiers to adjust how hard you want your Horde mode experience to be. And it'd just be a cool little thing to help you hone in your quick swapping or your movement or your weapon combos or anything like that. You know, a nice little testing ground to just improve your skills as a Slayer aside from just going through waves of demons. But I digress. With this update of the Slayer Gate completely out of the blue, and with us experiencing what it's like to fight a possessed marauder in not only tight spaces but while under pressure with a bunch of imps and carcasses constantly throwing up shields in your way, I wonder if this is it kind of hinting towards some things that we're going to be experiencing in the Ancient Gods Part 2 DLC. And we know with that second DLC, they're going to be upping the ante quite a bit. You're going to be fighting your naked self. You're going to be wrestling yourself naked. You know, I'm still convinced that the entire DLC is just an analogy for your self-image and just loving yourself for who you really are.
Accept yourself. Love yourself. Accept yourself. Love yourself. It starts with you. It starts with you.
Makes sense. I mean, that's what Doom's all about, positivity. I mean, it is the most religious game on the market after all. I'm obviously just spitballing here, but I'm gonna just put it out there. I'm assuming the reason why they did this out of the blue was to prepare us, you know, get ready for the stuff that's gonna be coming around the corner. Maybe at some point in the DLC, we are gonna be fighting marauders back to back. One of them could be possessed, and instead of, in the DLC of having carcasses, they could be incorporating some platforming or some other claustrophobic areas that we're gonna have to be fighting these marauders in. We do know that they are gonna be incorporating some meat hooking into the platforming. Maybe there'll be a moment where we gotta fight a possessed marauder, maybe two marauders, and then we have to actually use the meat hook to traverse the arena. Maybe it's a bunch of platformings that are constantly falling, or some fire poles you gotta get around, and you have to meat hook the environment in order to bypass all these environmental hazards going on. You know, but that's just optional. I don't think forcing people to use the meat hook to move around would sit well with so many people. I mean, it is something you have to get used to actually using, and then being forced to use it is just going to add to the whole restrictive narrative that a lot of people put on Doom. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about all of this. Have you guys gotten a chance to try out the new Slayer Gate? How do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? What's your biggest complaints about it? But like always, my name is Cynic. Thank you all so much for watching. But until next time, I will see you all later after I clean up this fucking mess. Should not have thrown that controller. I got a fucking mess.